Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome to the show, where we interview the nation's leading real estate entrepreneurs. And let me tell you what, guys, I got a treat for you here. It's only the second time this has happened, but I'm glad it's happening again, where I've got an absolute tax pro here in the studio today, and I'm going to be having a great conversation with him, maybe learning some tips, tricks, and seeing what people are really missing that's wide out in the open, especially in the real estate space. Now, what's also incredible about this guest is they've been in the commercial and industrial real estate space since 1989 and has been a part of a family business owning, managing over 1 million square feet of real estate. So now he is currently running his strategic tax planning and estate firm with a heavy emphasis in the real estate world. And I've got William Spar in the house today, y'all. So we're going to get into it. But just before we do, remember, here at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, and real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their businesses so they can build the businesses they've always wanted in order to live the lives they've always dreamed of. Now, that being said, William, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
You bet. I'm glad you're here, my friend.
Yeah.
Do you go by William officially, or do you go by Bill? How do you
Either.
typically?
It's Bill most of the time, but yeah, or any other 4-letter words my friends call me.
Yeah, of course. Well, those are good friends if that's the case.
Of course.
I've got some of those myself.
Yeah.
So now let me ask you this. Can you give us just a little background on how you got started in the business, what got you, even interested in it, and how'd you get to where you're at today?
Yeah, of course, it's a long story, but the short version is my family's been involved in real estate for 60 years. And when I got out of college and got my real estate license, I spent a lot of years in brokerage, retail, leasing, industrial, commercial, all that kind of good stuff. And then joined my family's business from the real estate division as well. And I spent 10 years there just, getting groomed and building and tenant improvements and learning the business from that perspective. And then in January of 2000, I left the family business and went into life insurance and estate planning from that point, and I've been doing that for 25 years.
Wow. Now, so with that, because you also, you've got 2 full-time preparers, but you've also got tax attorneys, real estate agents, you've got notaries, you've got basically the whole package to be able to handle everything. Now, what are some things investors should really be considering and thinking about when it comes to your niche in the industry that they're oftentimes missing?
The biggest thing that we see is what's going to happen tomorrow. How are we going to be able to parlay this property into making it more efficient, not only from a cash flow perspective, but what are they going to do to capture tax advantage benefits for them? How are they going to, capture expenses and make sure that the property is running more efficiently, whether they're doing a cost segregation study or they're rehabbing the property, anything along those lines. We're there to help them, hold their hand, and walk them through how those things look.
Now, so what made you decide to do the tax strategy and the estate planning in combination? Like, obviously, each deal separate. They're kind of both important at the same time. But
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
at what point did you decide to walk away from the family business? Why was that?
The family business, as you know, it's a unique dynamic when you're working with your brother, your father, your uncle, your cousins, and although we were probably being overpaid for the position, there was always going to be that glass ceiling that I was going to hit my head on, and someone else was going to determine my outcome, and that just didn't jive with me. And so when I told my mom and my dad, actually when I went to go see them, I wrote letter and got my feelings out, and my dad was all for it. He goes, "Listen, that's how I got into business. I did the same thing. I know what you're thinking. I've been there. I've done that." And so my mom was the one who really wasn't very happy. She thought I was going to offend people. And no, they've all been very supportive. And again, it's been 25 years since I did that. And I'm sure they're a little shocked that I continue to survive. But listen, entrepreneurial blood runs through our system. So just got to make that happen.
Yeah, 100%. What's a big risk that you took early on? What would you say a big risk was in that process?
So when you get into the life insurance world, I joined New York Life, and they want you to do this whole build a list of 100 of your closest friends and family, so on and so forth. And I absolutely refused to do that. I didn't want to sell my family, didn't want to sell my buddies. And so I just grinded it out and went out and knocked on doors and said hello and got business other ways. And I waited for them to call me in order to do things. And so, hence why I'm bald, by the way. And so just grinding it out and making stuff happen without having to reach within my super inner circle. And other than asking for business, I asked for referrals. Who do you know that I can go help, that I'm a specialist in?
Totally. Now, so what did you find in terms of the people that you did some business with? How important was it to get those referrals to you? I think that's something in sales. This is kind of going off on a little bit of a tangent, but in sales, so many people are always afraid to ask people for referrals. But really, it sounds like that's how you even built your business, was off of that.
It's a sensitive situation because some people don't like to give referrals, and so it's just a matter of how you are, phrasing the conversations, how you're maneuvering through the conversations. And I find that not directly asking for them works best. It's more of a subtle hint on who do you know that I can work with. Sometimes people don't like that, and so we just continue to do good work, right? And if your work stands out above others, people are going to refer you no matter what.
Yeah, 100%. And so with your current list of clients, are you focusing on people that are in the real estate space, or what's kind of the next thing on your radar with your business?
We have probably 20% of our clients are real estate owners in some way, shape, or form. I think our biggest real estate guy, he owns 60 single-family residences, and he's 90 years old, and now his daughter is taking over.
Oh, wow.
So that's a big portfolio. It's a lot of work, so on and so forth. But a lot of real estate brokers, commercial and industrial real estate brokers are my clients. And then the next biggest chunk is just small business owners, whether they're manufacturing, architect, chiropractors, printing houses, plumbers, HVAC. All those guys are our clients. And then, of course, there's a bigger chunk of just mom and pops and singles and individuals.
Totally. Are there any common misconceptions about your part of the industry?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
From a tax perspective, no, because the code decides on how we make things happen, right? You can't negate, you can't debate the code. Yeah, we can manipulate the code. We can manipulate it in your favor. And so it all depends on how it applies. A lot of people think that there's two different tax codes, one for the super rich and one for the rest of us. And so I spend a lot of time educating people on the fact that there is only one. So when Donald Trump or Bezos or Bill Gates say, I paid very little tax or no tax, I explain to them it's the same exact tax code. It's who you're working with that makes the difference.
Totally. And ultimately, I mean, there is a factor of that too, I think, where people don't, they look at people that own businesses, right? And there is some key differences between being a W-2 employee and a business owner, I'm assuming, correct?
Without question.
Some things that, so
high,
what are some things
high
that people
W-2 earners are great clients for us because there actually are some tax maneuvers, tax code that we can use to make their situation look better. And of course, small businesses are great as well. We find that businesses that have about 250, 300 up to about 2 million in revenue, that chunk is being absolutely ignored from regular tax people. They're too big for H&R Block, and they're too small for Deloitte and Touche and similar type guys. So that's really the niche that we concentrate on. The other misconception is that people want to tell me, well, I have a CPA. So that's great. I don't want to disrupt a perfectly good relationship, but tell me where you see the word tax in the three little letters CPA. Like, what do you mean? A CPA is a certified public accountant. They're debits and credits. Nowhere in there is the word tax. Yes, some of them do tax planning. CPAs are excellent at their job. They put the right numbers in the right box and they hit go, right? But they're not strategic tax planners. They're not manipulating the code in a good way to show people, hold their hand on what code can apply to their situation. So it's really a deeper conversation.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that because even getting on before the show we were talking and I mentioned that I have a CPA, but like really what he is a tax strategist. Mm-hmm. And so now I'm going to have to stop referring to my CPA as a CPA.
Yeah.
Including
accountants. Same thing. Accountants are also debits and credits, and they're great, and some of them do great tax planning or tax work. But the point is that we're tax planners. We're strategic in what we do. We don't do any accounting. We don't do any debits and credits. Yes, we can build you a P&L or a balance sheet. Yeah, we can do that stuff, but that's not our real forte. We do it in order to tax plan, not necessarily make your books look good.
Yeah, totally. Now, so who are your favorite people to work with?
Favorite people to work with, of course, are small businessmen, because I really do, as I mentioned before, I think that chunk of people that we want to work with are really getting ignored in the marketplace, right? And so I do my very best to try and get in front of those people and tell my story, educate them on who I am, what we're doing, so on and so forth. But again, I bleed real estate, man. It's commercial and industrial. Those are the guys that I want to get in front of because I understand what they're doing. I understand their business. I've been there. I've done that. I've walked in their shoes. So it's a good fit.
Yeah. What's a mistake that cost you time or money, and what'd you learn from it?
A mistake or an event?
Let's go event.
Yeah.
Sounds like you got something teed up.
Listen, I got very, very sick in 2020 and almost died. And so
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I spent 14 days in the hospital, and it took me about 45 days to completely recover. And so spending that amount of time away from running the business was very, very difficult. And I thank God that the two people that I had on my staff at the time, they really carried me through that particular time, and communicated well with the clients. And of course, then they communicated to me. So it was a rough period of time, but it's something that you deal with. In my opinion, God decides, and we're here to carry out His mission.
Totally. So, out of curiosity on that note, are there some systems or processes that you've put in place since then that have also saved you from major headaches? Or
Absolutely. Hire the right people. Communicate with them. Make sure they understand the mission. Understand what happens if I were to disappear tomorrow. Who do you call? What do you say? Who steps in to help either run the business, sell the business, shut it down, whatever it is. What we're trying to do is you've ultimately transitioned the business to two of the people within the business who've expressed keeping it on. So whether I get called home or I just decide to transition out, we've got plans in place.
Sure. So would you say that event was like the biggest turning point in your business, or what would you say was like the biggest turning point that you've had?
I would say it was a giant wake-up call to get your act together, no question about it. When that happened, it came on so suddenly, and it was just something that we dealt with quickly. And of course, my family was there to help me, and they were communicating with my staff while I was, of course, wrapped up in a bed, and just trying to make things happen from that point.
Totally. Now, so as far as like your marketing and whatnot, what does like day to day look like for you? How do most people end up finding you?
So we're on most of the socials, and my job as the owner is I'm out in the marketplace every day. I will talk to anybody about anything. I don't care. I will say hello to anybody, and that's a good tool that I use, that I'm trying to teach my children. Listen, just say hello. Just say hi. You'll know if they don't want to talk to you. They'll let you know very, very quickly, right? Yeah, and if they do, you never know. That person can become a friend. They can give you a business. They can give you their business. They can introduce you to people. Just say hello. And so I've really made that my motto in terms of how we meet people, and teaching my staff to do the same thing. We kind of roll in groups, and people overhear us talking, and so we're not afraid to turn around and give them a business card if we need to.
Totally. Yeah. How do you stay educated with things changing so fast in our world? I think we've got a lot going on with AI and everything else. How is that affecting your industry, and how do you stay educated with everything going on?
Well, again, as we were talking before the show, being licensed by lots of different divisions, we're constantly doing continuing ed, taking tests, making sure we're up to date, making sure we're compliant, all that kind of good stuff. So Department of Insurance, the IRS, all those things we've got to do to keep ourselves going, including my staff. We have to take continuing ed just to renew our software, for crying out loud. So there's a lot of back end stuff that we're doing in order to stay compliant. But for me, AI is definitely challenging at this point. AI is taking over the tax and the accounting world big time, but it's never going to take over what you and I are doing. It's never going to take over face to face, eyeball to eyeball. And
Totally.
as much as people think that it's going to rule the world, it might, but I doubt it will do in my lifetime. But I know I wouldn't want a robot planning my future. That's for sure.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, and I think the human connection piece is, I think in a way it's dwindling. I for example, I made a post this last week, and it's a conversation that I had with my mom probably 6 months ago. And I just told her, I said, Mom, we're really getting into a world where every day we're progressing towards a more synthetic version of reality. People don't get outside the way that they used to anymore. They don't call people on the phone the way they used to. They don't, like, all of these things have completely changed. And I mean, you just even look at like the dating world, right? I mean, how often is it that you come up now and you meet a couple and it's, well, how'd you guys meet? And it wasn't like, oh, well, believe it or not, I was down at the farmer's market and I saw her over there in that sundress. It's like, we met on Tinder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly
Like, it's
right.
almost like 50-50 now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where the convenience is great, but at the same time, I think there's something to be said about the value of human connection, because that's really how we're made, right?
Agreed. And I'm trying to run the business the same way. We do a lot of advertising. We post and we send postcards, and I do workshops every single month across the valley here. There's nothing better than eyeball to eyeball, in my opinion. That's how I grew up. I think our kids will be different. They're gonna run their lives differently than what we are. But sure. I met my wife at a New Year's Eve party. It completely random. So that was a chance encounter, and we made it work. It's been 25 years, and so that's the way I'm trying to teach everyone around me is don't let the robots get you.
Yeah, no kidding. So that you brought up something interesting, and I'm putting two and two together here. But your business is 25 years old-ish, and you've been married for 25 years. So there was those two things are pretty pivotal life decisions that happened around the same time. How supportive was your wife of you during that season?
She was extremely pivotal in helping me make that decision. She was there when I went and talked to my parents about bailing on the family business, and so I had to make sure that it wasn't because of her. This was me doing what I was doing, and at the time, I was just getting ready to graduate with my master's, and so there was a lot of things culminating at the same time. This new person in my life, leaving the family business, getting my master's, starting a new career, being commission only. So there was a lot of moving parts, and then literally we got married in October of '99, and in December my wife was recruited by Mandalay Bay, so she bailed and went to Vegas, and so I followed shortly thereafter after I got licensed and all that kind of stuff that needs to happen there. So just a ton of moving parts in a very short year as we happened to go through that.
Wow, that's insane. Now, I think choosing your spouse is, I think it's common sense that it's obviously a huge decision, but especially for entrepreneurs, people in business, it can make or break your success a lot of times.
No, there's no question about it. They have to be patient. They have to be good listeners. They have to be tolerant, because our days are so wacky. And, I've learned over time that what comes out of my mouth is directly related to how other people are going to feel. And so it's just all that communication, whether you're talking to your family or a client or a prospect, or you're just meeting a new friend over a beer, right?
Yeah.
It makes a difference.
Totally. Well, William, we appreciate you coming on the show. Tell these fine folks how they can connect with you for more, learn more about what you're working on.
Sure, I appreciate that. So it's ARP Tax and Estate Planning, Phoenix, Arizona. Phone number 623-889-3403. Or email is wmspar@arptaxpro.com.
There you go, folks. So go connect with them, show them some love from the real estate pros and the investor community. And we'll see y'all in the next episode. Thanks,
Thank
Bill.
you very much.
You bet.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.